Okay, so next under here, here's the bell housing on the transmission. We're going to remove this bolt right here, and it's going to have this dust inspection cover be removed, and then we'll be able to access our flex plate to torque converter bolts. So this is a 10 millimeter. So we're just going to break that loose. Okay, so with this plate removed, you can see up in here, these are the bolts that we're going to be taking off. So we'll take them off one at a time, and we have to put a breaker bar basically on the crankshaft on the front pulley. I'll show you in a minute. And we'll spin each of these around, and as they spin around, we'll take them off. So in order to expose each of those torque converter bolts, you're going to get a breaker bar with a 3/4 inch socket, and it's going to have to go up in here onto the crankshaft pulley, if you can see that. So then as you turn it, it doesn't really matter which way you turn it, but as you turn it, then it'll move those bolts into position. And so you'll probably have to turn it, and a tip I like is to take the socket off, turn it a 1/4 turn, like so, and put it back on, and then put it back up in there and turn it again. So as you do that, you'll have to keep checking back in there, but you'll start exposing those bolts. Now, if they're on too tight, you might need somebody on this end to hold the crankshaft in place while you break those other torque converter bolts loose. So as you do this, make sure that the truck is in neutral so that you can spin it. Okay, so you can see that that bolt is now exposed since we turned it enough. And so you can fit a regular 14 millimeter socket right on it. And it seems like you do have enough room in here. So now remember, as you go to break this loose, it'll spin. So you have to have somebody out here holding that crankshaft in place with that breaker bar. So once you break that one loose, you'll have to twist it with the crank until that next bolt exposes itself, and repeat that process, taking them off one by one. Okay, so as you can see, I broke that one loose. Here it is. So you're just gonna, now that that one's out, you're gonna just rotate that crankshaft until the next bolt comes into view, and then break it off too. It was possible, I did this alone down here, to be turning it while trying to hold the crankshaft still with the breaker bar on the front. So it is possible, but 2 people would definitely be helpful. Okay, so that's the last one. Spun it around one after the other, and there were a total of 4 of those bolts.